Back with Mario Cantone.
Okay, we're back. This is Annie Hall.
Second of two films with Diane Keaton, part of our 24-hour salute to Diane Keaton here on Summer to the Stars.
This was a tough one because, you know, after this we're showing Interiors, which is one of my favorites. But it's not really her movie. She's excellent in it.
Right.
And you show Annie Hall a lot, and I didn't want to pick it, but I was like, I watched it, and I was like, she's so magnificent in this. And the movie itself, it's just genius.
It's this signature performance of Diane Keaton, but, like, don't get lost in that. There's so many brilliant little things that Woody Allen does here in Annie Hall that has nothing to do with Diane Keaton. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Just the way he opens this movie, breaking the fourth wall, and he goes in and out of that so brilliantly in so many different ways.
Well, at one point I even wrote in my notes, like, he's breaking the fifth wall, because while breaking the fourth wall, they bring Marshall McLuhan in. Like, it's like a whole other wall.
There's a moment where Diane Keaton comes out of her body and sits and watches them.
Oh, that's genius,
it's
It's a really
gorgeous,
great
and
moment.
hilarious, and, like, it's beautiful.
All things that, when handled poorly or handled without enough humor, frequently take me out of movies, take me out of the reality.
Absolutely.
But none of that happens here.
And the thing about this movie is it came out in January of 1977, and then it won Best Picture in February of '78. So that's how strong it was. It won Best Picture, it won Screenplay, it won Director, and she won Best Actress. In 1977, she did two major movies, Looking for Mr. Goodbar and Annie Hall. Two completely different performances. The thing with her is she's so hilarious in this, and then she is so brilliant and dramatically in Looking for Mr. Goodbar. She was not nominated for Goodbar, but I feel like she won it for both this year. She was nominated for Annie Hall, and she won it.
And I think also, given what you just said about the January release date for Annie Hall, and then the Academy Awards coming so much later, I bet Mr. Goodbar was a reminder of, oh, wait, this was the girl in Annie Hall, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every time I watch this movie, I'm just like, it's hilarious. And I marvel at the brilliance of what it is comedically. And obviously it was written for her, Annie Hall. Her last name was Hall.
His brilliance in this movie is, in a sense, been overshadowed because her performance in this is at a bare minimum one of the great performances of the '70s, and really one of the great comedy performances of all time.
And he, he was a brilliant writer and a brilliant director, and very funny, but always playing himself, and he wasn't considered the actor. Diane Keaton, but
he's acting here, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he wasn't considered the actor.
I got you, yeah.
But he served his purpose brilliantly in this and many other movies.
Yeah, and in fact, to me here, there's less of the neuroses from Woody Allen here than in other movies. He has it, but he doesn't lean into it as much. And it's almost as though he's aware that it's a flaw of his in this film, whereas that's not always the case in his other films.
And I love that he plays a stand-up comedian, because that's what he was. I mean, it's really based on their relationship. And they weren't together as lovers, I think, long, but their friendship lasted forever, and she adored him and loved him till the end. Some of the cameos in this: Shelley Duvall, Carol Kane, who plays his first wife, Jeff Goldblum, who has one line, and Christopher Walken, who plays her brother. He has a little speech that is just hilarious. It leads to a really funny situation. One of the great comedies, one of the great comedy romances. I mean, you can't even call it a rom-com, because it's on a whole other level.
I don't use that phrase anymore because it feels pejorative.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, yeah.
And back then, we didn't have that phrase.
This is a comedy with a lot of romance in it, but mostly this is one of the defining comedies of the '70s.
Absolutely, no question. Let's watch it. Yeah. From 1977, Diane Keaton, Woody Allen, Jeff Goldblum, Carol Kane, Shelley Duvall.
Jeff Goldblum got third?
Well, we love Jeff Goldblum. He's the wizard. It's Annie Hall.
Back with my co-host for Summer Under the Stars, Mario Cantone.
I love this movie. Yeah. How about the ending, how it's so sweet and so moving also?
I think that's why I said at the beginning of the movie that there's not as much neuroses for Woody's character. He's actually pretty mature.
Yes.
Like, at the end, he's so delighted just to be friends with this woman.
Exactly. It shows what their relationship really was and how their friendship did go on for years. And it's just so sweet. Okay, so you didn't remember that Chris Walken had a line
That's because he didn't have a line at the
at
table.
the table.
At
But
the table,
do you
right.
remember in the bedroom when he's sitting on there on the bed saying,
Sometimes when I'm driving on the road at night, I see two headlights coming toward me. Fast, I have this sudden impulse to turn the wheel quickly, head on into the oncoming car.
and then they were in the car together and that pan shot. It's so hilarious. And the greatest thing is that before we even knew who Christopher Walken was and what a brilliant weirdo he was,
Yeah.
being cast in this, like, how did he find him? How did he know to do that?
Just the smile he gives at the table. Like the smile that, you know, my brother Dwayne, and he's like, you know, it's so weird.
It's
It's
so
so
weird.
Christopher Walken.
And,
yeah.
and Colleen Dewhurst, who plays her mother,
mom, yeah.
who's just one of my favorites, a great, brilliant stage actress, and just
And
what
she's
an elegance about her, too.
Right, and it's-
Perfect for that role.
also because she's not weird.
No.
Everyone else,
Everyone else.
The granny is an anti-Semitic. Dad's weird. Christopher Walken's weird. She's why Annie is vaguely normal, even though
I
she's
just-
wonderfully not normal.
The fact that he gets to, you know, have commentary because he breaks the fourth wall at the beginning and breaks that convention. He has that commentary through whenever he wants. When they first meet and they're on her patio deck and there's the subtitles.
Oh,
like
right,
they're
yeah.
talking about completely different things, and it's like, gee, I'd like to see her naked. I mean, it's so hilarious and brilliant.
But their meet cute at tennis, it feels like every other meet cute in a romantic comedy is based on the template of that scene of Woody and Diane together,
Also,
where she does la-di-da for the first time.
yeah, and then juxtapose after they break up the first time, the lobster scene. How much fun they had with the lobsters, and he's like, you talk to it, you speak shellfish,
Yeah.
and then when he's with that model,
Right.
and she's just smoking, she's like, well, pick it up, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, pick it.
It's a whole other
You've
thing.
picked up a lobster before, haven't you?
Oh,
Yeah.
my
yeah.
God. How many times has that happened in life?
And but what's genius and what feels authentic about the movie is that's a moment that tells him you don't know how good you had it.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't know how good he had it, and he realizes that, but he also is able to understand we're done. We're still done, even though that was as good as it gets.
And also, the fact that this won Best Picture, and he basically rails against L.A. in this movie and says everything bad about it. He exposes its phoniness and, you know, all the stuff that you think about in Hollywood. And they still gave him the Oscar for Best Picture. This was a shock when it won. When they won, I remember, it was a shock.
Yeah, I wasn't yet watching the Academy
I
Awards.
was.
Yeah, well, you're much
'Cause
older.
I'm
than I am.
older than
much
you.
older, much
Yeah,
older.
we know. Say it again.
Well, you're much older. It's okay.
Say it again.
It's just numbers, you know.
Shut
Age is just a number.
Phil,
It's just that your number is
mouth.
much higher than my number.
So next up is Interiors.
Which you want, if you could have done 3.
I would have done Interiors.
Yeah.
I don't think it's her movie, but she's wonderful in it. This is the first drama that Woody Allen ever made. I just love it. And I'll tell you why. It's Geraldine Page's picture. Next year, we're going to do Geraldine Page, because she was one of my favorites, too. And Maureen Stapleton, who's magnificent in Interiors. This is a great movie.
All right, so Mario's done for the night, but he'll be back next week with 2 more movies.
Yes, we're doing Susan Hayward next week. I want to live. I want to live. Yes,
but we're not doing I Want to Live.
No, we are. It's going to be the third movie.
Right, we've
But
got
we'll
I'll Cry
talk about it
Tomorrow
briefly.
and Valley of the Dolls.
And Valley of the Dolls. But next up is Interiors. So this is a good one. I picked it, but he's doing it on his own because I am taking to my bed.
Next on TCM, Interiors, then Sleeper, and later The Little Drummer Girl. March to the beat with Keaton tonight.